I know there's a lot of people out there who say to themselves, oh, look, I just don't have any time for gaming. I don't have any time for my hobbies. I'm just working. I'm just being a parent. I'm doing all the things that I got to do. But my God, my cup's empty. I've got no energy whatsoever for anything that I enjoy in my life. And I don't know, maybe I relate a little bit to that. I wouldn't be so extreme. Calm down over the top, Drew. I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, for sure, definitely there have been points in my life where it's just like, man, I don't have any time for gaming. But I really do feel like, for the most part, that comes down to whether it's a mindset or that you need to change your gaming gear. I'm not going to touch on the gaming gear this video, but I do want to touch on sort of the mindset to being able to play more games. And, you know, that comes down to a choice. If you're playing sport on the weekends, if you're like, you know, doing other hobbies and activities, obviously you've only got so much time for your hobbies just outside of work and family. So you've got to be able to, you know, make sure you sort of weigh up what's important to you. But then when you've done that, you've worked out how many games or how much time you've got to spend gaming for, you know, whether it's just one day a week, or, you know, you play it every night, or maybe you've got a couple of days on the weekend all set free to play video games. That's up to you. But I know for me, video games are like, you know, my main hobby. I'm listening to podcasts all the time. I'm doing content about them. And obviously for all those things to feed back into it, you actually need to play video games to actually talk about them and make content about them. I know there's a lot of people on the internet who just seem to make content about them, or maybe make content about the people that make them and make content about them. It's kind of a weird full circle there. But it's important to me that I actually play video games. So when I sit in front of this camera, I've actually got some experience in my pocket rather than just talking shit, which, don't worry, I certainly talk a lot of shit. But it's something that I wanted to find more time for. So I found something personally for me that really motivates me and allows me to play more games. And that's personally, like, I guess it originally started off as a New Year's resolution. In 2023, my New Year's resolution was to beat 25 games. And I thought that'd be a good target to hit. That's pretty much 2 games a month. And, you know, that's a good cadence, especially for longer games. You know, if you're spending 20 hours a week on gaming, you know, maybe do a big game every fortnight. It sort of works out mathematically. It works out well. So that was my goal for 2023. And it turns out I play like a lot of indie games and things like that. It might be games that are like 2 hours to 10 hours long. So I was actually able to hit that target pretty well. And 2023, I was actually able to beat 43 games. And after that year wrapped up, I was really sort of taken back by how well, for me, the motivation worked of just like adding a game to your list. I've got an ongoing list, just whether it's on Twitter or it's on an app called the GG app, where I keep track of like the games I've beaten and playing and all of that type of thing. Doesn't matter what app it is, whatever works for you, but I found it really satisfying being able to add those games to that list. And it was a lot of fun. So I was just shy of 50 for 2023. So I thought 2024, this year, I'm going to aim to do 50. And that is a lot of games. That's like one a week. So I'm like, let's do it, man. It's ambitious. At the time, I had a 2-year-old, and in June, my wife and I welcomed into the world my little daughter. So I knew this year was going to be big, and in some ways that's like, it's going to be hard. Do I have time for games? You know, little baby, 2-year-old, all of that type of thing. But I think in some ways it was even more important for this challenge for me to be focused on playing games, because ultimately gaming is what refills my cup. You know, able to sit there, engage in a game, whether it's something like Stellar Blade that I played, where I really had to try and figure out and master the combat system, or even something like Life is Strange Double Exposure, where it is just me sitting back, making a few choices, moving the character around, no combat, nothing to master necessarily, but just engaging in the story. It was important to sort of, get those experiences in, refill my cup, so then I can be a better father and a better husband. And that's really what this challenge has really improved this year. Is just like, it's November and I've already beaten 51 games. So it's something that works extremely well for me. Just like, I guess that little bit of dopamine was like, oh, I finished the game, I can add it to my list, rather than just like beat it and I guess forget about it. Because I know, like, if, for example, you guys out there, can you remember what you beat in January or February or maybe even June? Can you recall back to June what you're playing in June? It's hard, isn't it? I can't remember either, but when I go and check my list, I'm like, oh yeah, March and April I was playing Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. I remember like that experience really well. Was it August? I think I did Kinzera Zao, which was another fantastic Metroidvania. So yeah, like actually having these on the list sort of helps cement these gaming memories more deep in your head, which is really cool. And something that I find really useful, especially like, when I'm making content, and I'm going to be doing like a big game of the year list at the end of the year as well. So pretty vital for that. I don't know if I would remember hardly any of these games, especially when you're playing on like a platform like Switch, for example, which doesn't keep track of anything. At least I guess elsewhere you can go and look at your achievements or whatever. So yeah, this has been something that works really well for me. I don't know whether I'll do it every year, like at the start of every year where I'll be like, all right, I need to beat 50 games. Obviously life is going to change, just as time goes on. The kids get older, there's sporting commitments and different things to do with them. I might get a lot more time, I might get a lot less time. I don't know. I dare say you're in the same boat as well, but I think like next year I feel pretty confident to be like, all right, this is something that works well for me and motivates me. And I'll probably aim for 50 games again next year. I feel like that's a good amount of games to play in one year, whether it's a bunch of small games or a mix of really long games and small games that I think I have done this year. So yeah, it works really well for me. Another area where it works really well is like when it comes to like the start of each month, I really did plan like, all right, this week I'm going to be playing this, and this new release is coming out that I'm really looking forward to it, so I got to play it day one, and I put it in that, in the slot for like the Thursday it comes out. I'll be playing that for the week after, and I'm really like sort of organizing my gaming, and not in a bad way where I'm like, oh look, I'm like making it into a job and all of that. I think it's pretty important that you don't do that to yourself. Like, don't make like a massive list of your 50 games at the start of the year, but just play what makes you happy, what you really enjoy. Like, I was playing Paper Mario before the Thousand Year Door, and I wasn't really enjoying it. I'm like, it's fine. I don't need to play this for 20 hours, and I dropped it, and then I didn't actually end up really playing the Thousand Year Door re-release on Switch either, just because I wasn't really feeling it. I was feeling like playing other things, and that month as well, like for example, Stellar Blade came out on PS5. Didn't play it at the time. I had some other games I was playing, but when I did get around to Stellar Blade turned out to be one of my favourite games of the year. It's easily in my top 5. So it's important not to like force a square peg into like a triangle hole or anything like that. Play what you enjoy, and just see as it comes. If you feel like playing a retro game, have a look, see what retro game you want to play. You want to play like a big modern game, see what's just released, go to the shop and see what excites you when you look at the cover. Yeah, it's just been like really good, and it suits me. I think the only downfall when it comes to this challenge was like, for example, like a game like Metaphor ReFantazio. I look at like the runtime of 70 or 80 hours. I'm like, oh, like it makes it a little bit harder where I can like get a similar dopamine hit by finishing a game, putting it on my list that's like 4 hours long, like just like one sitting. So that's where the downfall comes. Like without like a challenge of, oh, I've got to beat this amount of games, I might just be able to play longer games and go through them and not really think about it all that much. But I think even without sort of this, without that pressure, I think that's just the type of gamer I am anyway. Like I don't want to be playing the same game through the story for like a month or 2 months. Like it's got to be an incredibly special game to do that. Even like Tears of the Kingdom last year, I played like 80 hours or 75 hours in 2 weeks. Like I absolutely smashed that game. I played it so much, and that was an incredibly special game. Like I loved it. So it's probably like top 3 favorite games of all time. I love Tears of the Kingdom, but at the same time, do I want to be playing it for a month or 2? Not really. I want to like keep moving. I want to keep playing different games, and that's where the downside of this sort of thing might come in. So yeah, it might sort of play into just like how you play your games, how you feel about playing games, and whether you have like massive ADHD and it helps you helps keep you on track, or maybe you just like playing all the recent releases and you don't want to think about it too much and all that. I don't know. But it's something that's definitely helped me as a father and a husband, being able to fit in more games and keep me motivated, keep me on track, and keep me organised. And that's something that I haven't had for the last decade. And I think back to maybe like how many games did I play since I've been 20? I'm 30 now, so like the last 10 years, how many games have I beaten? Poof. I don't know if it would have been 100. So like I don't know. Like I really don't. I don't know if it might have been like maybe 10 or less games a year. Like that's where I was. That's why I wanted to be like, all right, you got to focus, man. Like there's so many games that have been half played or quarter played or whatever had you and gone into the backlog. And I was just kind of sick of that. So yeah, this has been something that's really kept me focused. And if you're somebody who poo-poos New Year's resolutions or whatever, it's not so much the resolution that you should be, mocking or whatever. It's just like you got to stick to it. Otherwise, it means nothing. I think a lot of people are just like, oh, look, I fall off of it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's like, well, how about you don't fall off of it if you want to accomplish something, whether it's going to the gym, like something important like that when it comes to your health, or playing video games. So like for me, I can make content about them and refill my cup when I'm feeling a little bit stressed and a little bit sad, or whatever emotion that I want to overcome with a bit of a mental health therapy when it comes to games, for the most part. Some games just piss you off and make you feel worse. But yeah. So yeah, I think that's what I want to say. Just thank you very much for watching the video, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Do you guys put any challenges in yourself when it comes to beating and playing video games? I'm even thinking about like changing it up, maybe like do like 12 long JRPGs, do a big long JRPG a month. Like, you can mix it up as well. Make it more focused or more broad like I have just with beating more games. Love to hear how you guys sort of handle it, especially if you're a dad or somebody who has very limited time for gaming. Be really interested to hear what you guys think. But until the next video, guys, happy gaming.